do this. Next up, we have Memory by Creo. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I am a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. If you like the sound of that, you're watching this on the video archive, the YouTube, whatever it is, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, comment, leave the notifications on. We just got monetized, so consider doing them join membership thing. And two major things to note. This is my first time hearing this track, so I will be pausing a lot, as I will be pointing things out as I hear them. And number two, this is recorded live on stream, so I might stumble upon my words here and there, like I did just now. And of course, I recently messed up my shoulder. I am getting it treated and everything, but the pain might still distract me here and there, so just keep that in mind, all right? So, without any further ado, let's do this. Memory by Creo. Let's go. Okay, so we start with a retro-sounding sample. Very nice. Very, very nice. We start with an arpeggio. An arpeggio, of course, is when you play a chord one note at a time. This is what is called a seventh chord. This is a seventh chord. It's a major seventh chord. It's more complicated theory, but it just sounds really nice. And this arpeggio, this very simple arpeggio, is our motif so far, because it has been repeated and it has been sequenced. Now, when you do a sequence in a melody, is when you take your motif. So in this example, we are doing a very simple upward going line, like this. And when you sequence it, you just do the same thing. You just started from a different point in this scale. And that's it. That's it. We have a very, very simple yet pretty chord going on with some background synths giving us a bit of extra. Let's see where this goes. Yeah, we have some chords in the back giving us a little bit of extra harmony. Okay, so now we bring a full repetition of the motif, but we are adding a couple of extra things. I like that we're adding a smaller synth in the back that is fading in and out, kind of like waves in the ocean. This is very, very pretty. Like, for such a simple idea, because this is a major seventh chord. It's, in theory, nothing too special. But here is a very valuable lesson. Just because in theory it either isn't something special or it doesn't work, doesn't mean it's going to be bad. The most famous example of a piece of music that in theory is absolutely horrible. We are talking, this would get you kicked out of a composition class is so bad. Canon in D. Canon in D is the stereotypical wedding, one of the stereotypical wedding tracks out there. It's a beautiful piece, but it doesn't work theoretically. It's a boring piece when it comes to theory. It's just a beautiful piece. Another one that that would get you kicked out of is the melody for the Ode to Joy by Beethoven. It's an extremely simple and straightforward melody, super simple, something that in your first year of music composition would get you kicked out. And Beethoven takes that and develops it in such a beautiful way that, yeah, it is one of the most famous pieces of music ever created. Full stop. So now we are having this apply to Creo with such a simple, like, this is, when I say this is nothing special, when it comes to the composition elements here, we're talking super straightforward eighth notes. Bum, 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 bum. You're arpeggiating a chord, super simple. but the elements in the back, the chords that are playing, the way they are playing, the way that everything is being faded in and out, make it just sound beautiful, regardless of how much in theory this shouldn't work. So here, that's a valuable lesson for y'all. That's a valuable lesson for y'all. Just because in theory it's not supposed to work, it doesn't mean it won't. I really like these, like, encroaching. Oh! Oh, there we go. We got a proper beat. Metare, XGDs, welcome to Market. Thank you for the follow. All right, so we had a quick moment over there of going off the ramp. Going off the ramp is a colloquial term. Colloquial just means there's no academic, or I'm refusing to use the academic term, and I'm just using this for the purposes of illustrating. A good way of transitioning between sections is to make you feel suspended up in the air before you move forward, right? And in this case, we take away the one constant that we had during that intro, that arpeggiated chord, and you let that descending contrary motion, we had contrary motion here, which another concept that we have, contrary motion. So when it comes to melodies and counterpoint, you can have melodies acting in contrary motion. What does that mean? We had the main motif, which was a line going up. Contrary motion just means we get a line going down in the opposite direction. Now, we had the contrary motion be a little bit faster. So for every time that we had the main motif, the other one was doing 2, 3, or even 4 contrary motion. But overall, the overall melody was still going in contrary motion. So that is one thing that you can extrapolate these things like this. And then we brought in the drum beat, and yeah. Okay. And we are having a very different melody from what we had at the beginning. The motif we had at the beginning is gone. Completely gone. So it could be that that wasn't a motif, that it was just accompaniment and it was an introduction, which, in theory, this is a mistake. In theory, this is a mistake you make. Because, again, when you're making music, you want to keep a very delicate balance between keeping things familiar and giving new material to your listener. Big guy, welcome today. How you doing? So what Creo did here is the introduction. He slowly introduced Gamespins, welcome today. He slowly introduced a couple of elements, very, very slowly. Then he took everything away and brought us something completely different. That is a big, big risk to take. However, some of the synths remained mostly the same. And let's just see where this is taken, okay? Like, okay, let me make this very clear. This doesn't mean it's an error. This could still be 100% intentional. It doesn't matter. This is what I'm saying. Theoretically speaking, this is something you want to avoid. However, it's still working. Like, it still feels familiar enough. There's no mistakes. There's happy little accidents. No, there's people who make fade-outs. That's an absolute mistake. And there's people that make fade-outs, and there's people that think that John Cage's music is good. And that post-tonal, atonal music is good. Yeah, that's a mistake. Let's see. Okay. I see what was going on here. The motif was still there. It's just that everything else had everything else was so upfront that it drowned it out a little bit. But remember the contrary motion that we just had? You know, the original motif was going up this way, but then we had the other one kind of doing like this rain function that was still going that way. Yeah, this one turned out to be the actual motif. This one, or either it's the actual motif or it's what we kept when we introduced this for the second section. Yeah. Opinion on country music? It's alright. Older country music is better, though. There you go. And now we bring back. There you go. There you go. So what we had there was going from section A to section B. So at the end of the day, as I said at the beginning, theoretically, it didn't sound good because I couldn't hear anything too familiar. But what we did here is that we had section A, which was the whole introduction that we did. And sections are just form/structure. Then we did section B, which was that first dropping of the beat, that beautiful, completely new melody that we heard. However, the motif was still there. Now we are doing what is called A prime. It's still the same material revisited, but there are some variations. In this case, it's the drum beat that we have added. So there you go. Like, as I told you, Creo, yeah, I don't care how old this track is. Some of these principles you keep with yourself for a while. So it turns out, in part, it was me not catching it on time. So, yeah, that's on me. Yeah, this recapitulation. And there we go. We bring in another version of the melody, but this time same melody. Oh yeah, I love this. I love this. So to bring more variation to this A prime, Dennis Slayer, welcome today. To bring more variation, we brought elements from, because usually when you do A to B, you want to bring some elements to A to section B. However, when you go back to section A, you are not obligated to bring elements from section B, but Creo has done it anyway. He has brought that fading in and out, lovely melody. It's not the same melodic line, but it's the same instrument and that same vibe that is being brought, as well as the drum beat. So we have two elements coming to A prime that just gives us this very, very lovely new sound with what is already familiar. This is actually That's lovely. So yeah, instead of that contrary motion that we have another melody building on top of this. So yeah, in this case, what we are having is that we are using two motifs. We had the first motif from section A, we had motif 1, and then we had motif 2 from section B, and now section A prime, we are doing both. Which is a risk, especially for a piece that is only 4 minutes long. Only, I say, right? But it is a risk, because at first you threw me off like that. I was like, holy shit, what happened to motif A? Turns out it was still there, and you were still going to use it. You were just introducing me to things slowly. So there you go. There you go. Turns out I got played. I got played really well. Well played, Mr. Creo. All right, let's see how where this is going to go, because now we're bringing back, we have that, no, we don't have the contrary motion. But that we have the going off the ramp moment. Contrary motion. Section B. B prime. B prime. Variation of section B with a couple of added elements to it. We're having those like Mario coin sounds, the extra 8-bit things, but the overall structure is still really pretty much the same. Look at that. Oh, I love that. Oh my god, yeah, motif 2 is still based on motif 1. Let me hear a bit more. Yeah, no, those extra variations are not, but it does have elements of motif 1. There you go. There you go. Absolutely beautiful. And And here we have once again the whole element of electronic music that is so unique to electronic music and so beautiful, of being able to interrupt your own song by splicing through and forcing silence through the music. It's such a uniquely electronic music thing, and it's just really nice. It's really nice. And I like how, even though these are two somewhat different themes, they're still being connected in very clever ways. So fairly clever ways how this is being done. The drum beat is so... Like, there are so many things about this piece that are so unbelievably simple, yet Creo is built... Like, this is a very Beethoven-esque approach of taking something very simple, and then building up around it and completely exploring. Because this is a full exploration of the motif. Because now that I understand that motif 2 is based off of motif 1, it's just that I hadn't heard fully all the tying aspects of it, because it's a bit tricky because of how much more melodic the second motif is. Yeah, no, this is a very Beethoven-esque approach. Oh, and we're having doublings here. So the melody now is being doubled. When it comes to orchestration instrumentation, the concept of doubling means that you are having more than one instrument play the same thing, but usually this involves a change on timbre and texture. One of the most difficult things that you can do is instrumentation. Picking the right instrument for the right tone, for the right texture, for the right timbre, and for the right psychological response. Every single sample that he's been using here has been very old school and has given us this entire feeling of just warmth next to that, which is fair enough. Fair enough. So having those extra doublings, that's really cool. That's really cool. I just like how the doublings are being done in octaves. That's just mean different ranges. Like, one of them is higher than the other. And it's very dramatic, and it just works, dude. It just works. Let's see. 1 minute left. Let's see where this goes. We got the contrary motion motif over there. Nice. And one more loop. Let's see where you're taking this. I love this. We have the inverted version of motif 1, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, right? We have the motif in contrary motion. This one going in contrary motion would be considered the inverted version of the motif, which literally just means it's upside down. That's all it means. That's all it means. I just forgot to mention that when it comes to motific development. Okay, so we removed those higher synths. We kept that melody over there. Oh! And we brought actual violin string sounds for this last bit. They were probably always there. They were just a little bit muffled off by the synths. But those high violins, those high strings, is always such a dramatic thing to do, right? So let's see where this goes. How are you gonna end this? Oh, te kurva njad! Oh my god. You can, yeah, I can tell that this is when Creo was in his Beethoven phase. So, this was one of the most stereotypical, cliche ways you can end an orchestral piece. First, we had the parody of the Super Mario Victory sound, which is a very nice one. But the most importantly was the timpani. The timpani, these beautiful big boy drums. Those drums that sound bum, 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 bum. that is one of the ways of having a final cadence when it comes to the closing cadence of an orchestral piece. You just do. I've done that with so many of my pieces because it's just dramatic. I find it so funny that we spent the entire piece with all of these elements from the modern day. Like, yes, I am going to count the 1980s as part of the modern day because, you know, Nintendo and all that is still digital age technology, right? And we ended with like the most cliche ending that you had in the 18th century. Like, we are talking Mozart did this, Handel did this, Haydn did this, Bach did this, Beethoven did this. No fade out. It ended. I'm not complaining. This is not me complaining. This is me saying, you cheeky bastard. You cheeky bastard ended up using a cliche in music. Which, again, cliches in music are a very good thing. You want cliches in music. Because unlike in film and TV, it's not corny to do a cliche. It works, and it works for a good reason. It was just really fun. Yeah, let me show you this again, right? So we have this, we have the outro, we went off the ramp, we took away the drums, and we have the digital, and we bring in this outro, and we reach that final note. And he also did it in reverse. Not only did you do the cliche, you also flipped it. Because usually in classical music, when you have the timpani doing the bum, 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 you slow it down until the final note. He did it in reverse. He sped it up until he reached that final note. Because the whole point of this is the moment of the ta-ta, moment. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. It's just, I was not expecting that, is the whole point. Yeah, you were waiting for the last ta-ta, but it still worked. It was still there. That was just fun. That was just fun. It was really clever. I didn't expect him to take that full-on 180 complete tonal whiplash and making it work. Like, so many things in this piece theoretically should not have worked. Such a simple motif, the wild differences between the first motif and the second motif, and everything else, they should not have worked. This outro should not have worked. This says otherwise. So there you go. That was Memory by Creo. That was fun. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and I hope that I have explained things here in a way that you don't have to be one to understand what has happened here musically. If you're watching this on the video archive, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn notifications on. We just got monetized, so consider supporting the channel further with a membership. Paid subscription, whatever you want to call it. And yes, if you want to request a song, you're not watching this on the live stream, link in the description to the Discord. Go to the Discord LFA channel, LFA requests channel. Read the pinned comment for all the instructions. And there you go. And if you want to watch the streams live, links available down below for the Twitch and Discord channel servers with the stream schedule on your local time zone so that you don't have to calculate and bother with time zone calculations because those are annoying. And there you go. That was fun. Memory by Creo. Really, really good stuff that shouldn't have been, but was anyway. There you go. Memory. Really good stuff. But, yeah.